Still a long way to go in this draft, but if you can lock up a few key positions here in the first few, one thing this team's going to need is some leaders, and they've got one right here. Oh, no need to worry about this guy. Just plug him right into a starting role, and he'll be a massive upgrade. And that's a pick that'll solve a lot of problems out there. He'll fit in nicely. Still some big holes remaining to be filled. Here's where you may have to go after a lower-rated player just to make sure you get coverage in all areas. I'll tell you right now, you won't go wrong adding any of these guys to your team. Where to now? Do you get yourself a big brute for the trenches or someone who can really help you out at a playmaker type spot? Boy, you can't go wrong with anybody out of this group. No surprise to see a few Denver Broncos in this draft. Here's a chance for the second one to come off the board. Still a few holes on this roster and not a lot of time left to do anything about it. Now it's getting to the time of the draft where you really want to get lucky and hope somebody falls into your lap. Definitely some options with this pick. Do you take a skill player here or get yourself some help up front? Does this pick fill a big need? I'm not so sure that it does, but it is at least a slight improvement over what they had in place. Yeah, I don't think you needed a crystal ball to see that pick coming. That's all about loyalty and familiarity right there. And now, which side of the football will they address here? Some interesting options either way.
All right, Larry, thank you. It is indeed time for a draft champions matchup and what is set to be a great draft champions matchup. In the booth, I'm Brandon Gaudin with Charles Davis, and these guys should have a huge impact on the outcome of this game. They're ready to roll. We're ready to roll. Let's roll. And it's the birth of a new club as we're underway in draft champions. This one taken from the 7. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. On 1st and 10, Locke trying to force it to Hopkins, and it's intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And his guys are going to take over at the 34-yard line. That could be a downside of putting together a team in draft champions week 1. It's early. You might have some of these mistakes.
You're exactly right, because it does take time to build chemistry, trust, right? Understanding where guys are going to be. And I think that's what led to the interception. They just don't know each other well enough yet. That should build up as the season goes on.
Here we go now.
They'll run it for the first time with Williams. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. And a nice carry there of 15 yards.
It should go without saying that anytime you run the football well and gain a nice chunk of yardage, that means the offensive line did their job and did it really well. But let's give them a little more credit than that. Because all week long, offensive line meetings, they're going over adjustments, counters, when line shifts, all those things that go along with it. And yet, you still have to be physical. And that's what they did on the first play.
A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down. 2nd down and a little ways to go here. 2nd and 13. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. It'll be a 5-yard pickup there. So from 2nd and 13, they're back to a more manageable 3rd and 8.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that anytime you hand the ball to a back.
And this defense looks for one more stop here on 3rd after the run. On 3rd down, Elway. This is caught by Jackson. And he won't have the touchdown, but he will have the first down as he's tackled at the 2. And on display right there, the arm that made John Elway a lot of money.
And that's going to leave a mark, because when he throws it with that much force, one of the best arms the game has ever seen, one of the strongest ones, it does leave a mark. They actually called it the Elway cross, because you can see it, the impact.
And he's in for an Eagles touchdown. D'Angelo Williams taking it in from 2 yards out, and the Eagles have taken the early lead.
I know we don't talk about it enough, but the intelligence level of the guys up front blocking, the offensive linemen, maybe the smartest guys in football overall. Add in a little bit of athleticism and a whole lot of toughness, you've got a lot to deal with, don't you?
That's why the guys in the backfield get them really nice Christmas gifts, right?
If they're smart, they do.
This fielded at the 2. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And his first pass here is going to fall incomplete. Albert Wilson, the intended receiver there. And now it's 2nd down.
We know it's not an easy job to go out and catch passes when people are trying to tackle you and knock the ball away. But the bottom line is, that's a pass he's got to have and a pass he should have caught.
2nd and 10, Luck again. He's got time in the pocket. Now he's forced out right. And he'll get this up past the 25 before he's out of bounds. 4 yards on the pickup, and that'll make it 3rd down.
Okay, he's not going to get the first down, but this is still a nice job of buying some time and then running to get to the sideline and get out of bounds and avoid the big hit.
Throwing on 3rd down, Luck. And he finds a man. It's Olsen. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
On 1st down, it's Love. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
It's a tried-and-true formula, and I don't think it'll change for as long as we play football. If someone's trying to throw the ball, and you can put pressure on them and make it tough, that's only going to help your defense.
Yeah, he's since being hurried. He got rid of it before taking the hit, but incomplete. On 2nd and 10, Locke. Caught left side, Hopkins. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 10-yard line.
As far as I'm concerned, Andrew Luck can do it all. I mean, he's an underrated runner, toughness in the pocket, strong and stout. But let's face it, the money, that comes from his arm.
And smart, valedictorian of his high school class in Houston. Then he goes to Stanford. He's got it all. Luck on 1st down. Flush to his right. And he is going to go down back at the 11-yard line. It'll go as a sack and a loss of a yard, and it leads to a 2nd and goal. Ten yards still left on 2nd down. To throw on 2nd down is Locke. That is caught at the 7-yard line. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. Greg Olsen from 10 yards out. And the Cardinals are just an extra point away from tying this game. It's good, and we're all tied at 7 apiece. So a tie ball game here as the kick's away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll take this one near the 25, call it the 26-yard line. The Eagles offense now gets set to head back onto the field. And that recipe on their last drive that resulted in a touchdown looked pretty good, so they'll be hoping to do that once more.
And it takes me back to when we sat with the offensive coordinator and the head coach. They felt pretty good about their game plan and thought there were some holes in the defense, and they exploited them the last time out. Let's see if they can come back and put together a similar drive.
And we'll see if they can do just that. He'll let this thing go for Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders, the intended receiver. And it's 2nd down.
Well, partner, I guess that answers the question about whether they're going to sit on it or not.
It does. Now we'll see if they try that again.
Yeah, I think what we find on plays like that, when you take that shot, if you're unsuccessful, then you go way more conservative to finish the half, you know? I think that's the way they'll go.
And give them 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs. Back live with Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. It's the Eagles with the ball here to begin quarter number 2, and they've got it here with a 1st down. First, they'll throw with Elway. Bringing it in, Jackson left side. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory.
I like watching the wide receiver screen because it's a real teamwork play. Because guess what? The guy catching the ball, he'll get all the credit. But how about the people have to block in front of him, either fellow receivers or offensive linemen? That makes that play a really nice timing play, and sometimes it can break big.
Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively. And the play clock's running down. They go play action here on first down. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. Zero accountability, and a sack resulted.
Able to pick up a healthy chunk of yards, 7-yard gain, but a tough 3rd and 9 upcoming.
And once again, leverage wins. The offensive line, lower than the defensive front. They moved them and found some good space for the guy carrying the ball.
And the line to gain here is the 37 on 3rd down. They'll come out in the pistol. On 3rd down, Elway. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
Today's NFL, these big guys are featured receivers. They move them all over the place to try and find good matchups, and they had one. They were just unable to complete the pass.
And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line. The Cardinal offense now making their way back out onto the field. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that. They had a great air attack going. Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were confident enough to do it on the last drive, starting backed up in their own territory, why would you change anything? They've got to be confident about what they're presenting and continue to do so.
Yeah, because the secondary, they really look clueless.
And that was amazing because that drive went and went, no adjustments, and no big plays by the defense to knock the ball away.
He's going to loft one deep left side here. And they went for a big play through the air on 2nd down. Couldn't connect. Now it's 3rd.
One of the toughest things about playing defensive back is pattern reading, trying to figure out what they're doing. And on that one, they had to fly, just sending a guy downfield with the in route accompanying it, what people call a dagger route, trying to hit the guy underneath after the clear out. In this case, though, they're not able to get it done.
Yeah, they said forget the underneath route. They went for the guy on the fly, but as you said, incomplete. To throw is Love. And he can't come up with a pick. Nearly his 2nd of the game. Instead, 4th down. On 4th down, Colton Schmidt to punt it away. A 41-yard punt there with no return, and the Eagles take possession. Here's the Philadelphia offensive unit now as they head out to take over possession. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
They start the drive on the ground. It's Williams. And very little room to maneuver. He'll get this down to about the 39. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
A 1-yard gain can look like a disaster, but it all depends on how the game is going. Is it a series of 1-yard gains running the ball? If that's the case, you might have to start thinking about throwing it a little bit more. But if it's just the occasional 1-yard run, hey, congratulations to the defense. They won that one. Come back and get them the next time.
They run it again with Williams. And he'll get this up past the 45 to the 47. A good run as he works his way for 9 that time, and it'll leave him with a 3rd and just a few inches. Looks like the defense in press coverage here. Elway now looking to throw on third. And finding Troy. And the broken tackle helps lead to a first down gain. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Fresh set of downs here. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll be brought down just outside of the 30. Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1. And quickly they get to the line.
This drive is turning into an extended one, and the guy carrying the ball, he's becoming more like a body blows guy. Every carry is putting some damage on the defense. So after a while, I'm not too sure how many guys are going to want to run up and tackle him. Almost not fair. The big guy running the corner route, being able to lean and push and get to where he wants.
So how do you stop him?
A lot of times you want to have a linebacker on him, a bigger body guy who can handle him.
Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. 2nd down following the run. Again, it's Williams. And running room hard to come by here. He gets it down to the 8. Just a couple on the pickup there, and now it's 3rd down. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. Here's the 7th play of this drive. This is 3rd and 4. From the gun on 3rd down, it's Elway surveying the field. And that's going to be caught for an Eagles touchdown. Emmanuel Sanders in the final seconds of the first half. And the Eagles have taken the lead.
That's one of the better examples of clock management I've seen. Whittled it all the way down just about and still put the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, just a methodical drive and something really to take into the lockers here. Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. Short kick. One of the up men will take it down. And they're going to have really good starting field position here as that's taken up close to the 40. So we have reached halftime with a touchdown. That's the difference on the scoreboard. As we'll send you down to Orlando as we check in with Larry Ridley and our EA Sports halftime report. Larry, both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. Out come the Eagles now as they'll go on offense first here in the 3rd quarter. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had the ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation. In
a fight for the football, and it's intercepted. Picked off on a great one, Darrelle Revis. And his guys are going to get the football at the 28-yard line. Now we take a glance at the offense as they work their way back out for their first possession of the 2nd half. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here.